The Spirit Bomb is one of the most iconic moves in the Dragon Ball franchise. It's the one where the hero gathers an energy sphere for, 5 episodes, and then eventually launches it at the villain. This move has been able to kill a purple alien, a blob of silly putty, and a dragon with a nice 1970s mustache. Now that got me thinking, what if a Spirit Bomb were to hit you? Now I know I did a similar video on what if a kamehameha hit you, which you can check out somewhere right here, but this is a whole different animal. The Spirit Bomb has been generated and used in many different ways, from Krillin using a wimpy version of a Spirit Bomb, to Goku creating a massive Spirit Bomb that is the collection of people from all over the universe. In order to answer what would happen if a Spirit Bomb were to hit you, we must first find out how the Spirit Bomb is actually made. It is stated that the Spirit Bomb can only be created by a user with a pure heart. So Gandhi's pretty much the only human that could have created this thing for us. Imagine Gandhi with the Spirit Bomb. People of Earth, I need your energy. The user, which in our situation is Gandhi, would gather huge amounts of energy from all chosen surrounding life forms and inanimate objects to conduct that energy into a massive sphere of astounding destructive power. Okay, great, now we can actually answer the first question. What if this energy sphere were to hit you? We're gonna start off with what if the weakest one hit you, and then what if the most powerful one hit you. So, here we go. Goku created the first Spirit Bomb in the Dragon Ball franchise, but was too weak to use it for himself. So he donated half of the original energy to Krillin, who then threw it at Vegeta and nearly killed the same prince. Now that's bad news for people like me and you, because that means that the weakest Spirit Bomb in the history of the show would pretty much for sure kill you. But I'm sure that you guys already knew that, so let's keep breaking it down. In this clip, Vegeta's body gets stretched out and spaghettified by the Spirit Bomb. This means that the Spirit Bomb had enough energy to warp spacetime, and yes, energy can warp spacetime just like mass can, because energy and mass are relatively the same thing. If you haven't heard of spaghettification before, it was a concept made popular by my hero Neil deGrasse Tyson, where the human body could stretch and spaghettify as it approaches the singularity of a black hole. It occurs because the gravity at your feet would be stronger than the gravity at your head. So eventually, once you get close enough to the singularity, you would be stretched apart. Again, and again, and again. So the Spirit Bomb that Krillin threw at Vegeta would have as much effect on you as a black hole with 8 solar masses would at a distance of about 500 kilometers. And that's not even taking into account the energy that the Spirit Bomb would have. But the spaghettification itself didn't really do the damage to Vegeta. It was the energy content contained within the Spirit Bomb. Based on the fact that this Spirit Bomb was able to produce a miniature lightning storm for about 30 seconds and propel Vegeta hundreds of meters in the air, this attack would likely release over 50 billion joules of energy. About as much energy as the GBU-43B Massive Ordnance Air Blast, or better known as the mother of all bombs. It was designed in 2002 and is said to be the second most powerful non-nuclear bomb in existence. So what is the most powerful non-nuclear bomb, you ask? Well, that is the father of all bombs, which was created by who else but the Russians. So getting hit by this Spirit Bomb would be like getting attacked by a lightning storm and a massive bomb at the same time, just outside the safety limits of a black hole. But that's not all, because as the Spirit Bomb approaches you, your body would begin to heat up a lot. Because the Spirit Bomb's temperature would likely be well over 2,500 degrees Celsius, or about the same as the mother of all bombs explosion. As this extremely hot energy ball makes contact with your body, it creates a shockwave of compressed air particles. These shockwaves would likely be carrying bits of, you. But if you somehow managed to survive that, you would be getting pumped full of lightning strikes for the next 30 seconds, making your body nice and toasty. Wow, so if that's the effect that the weakest Spirit Bomb would have on you, then what would the most powerful one do? The Universal Spirit Bomb is the strongest Spirit Bomb ever used in the history of the show, and it might be the most powerful move, period. It was created by Goku, who drew energy from people all across the universe just to make this one Spirit Bomb. It was eventually launched at the Shadow Dragon, Omega Shenron, who was soon defeated. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to tackle this one. The first thing I noticed was that Omega Shenron was completely vaporized by the spirit bomb. Now, the energy required to break every chemical bond in your body is roughly 3 gigajoules, but because Omega Shenron is, well, not you, it would probably take at least 12 gigajoules of energy to break the chemical bonds in the Shadow Dragon's body. But that's actually not a ton of energy. That's actually the same amount of energy that an Airbus has traveling at cruising speed. But that doesn't necessarily mean that this universal spirit bomb doesn't have a lot of energy. In fact, it might have more energy than any of us can imagine. That's because this spirit bomb seemingly created an entire temporary black hole from pure energy. Normally, a black hole is created by having a massive object like a star collapse down into an infinitely dense small patch of space called a singularity. But it is theorized that black holes could be created by having an enormous amount of energy condensed down into a very small patch of space. This is called a Kugelblitz black hole. A black hole created this way would have an initial temperature of 141.7 nonillion degrees Celsius, or the same temperature as the universe was 5.4 times 10 to the negative 44 seconds after the Big Bang. At this temperature, the laws of physics break down to the point where we don't really know what would happen. This is because the 4 fundamental forces, electromagnetism, gravity, and the strong and weak force, are just one strange and mysterious force. But what we do know is that this temperature is way too hot for subatomic particles to exist. So being hit by this spirit bomb would not only break the chemical bonds in your body, but it would literally make the subatomic particles that compose your body evaporate. Thank you very much for watching. Click here if you want to listen to the extended special edition podcast on iTunes. And remember, just click here if you're awesome, and click somewhere around here if you want to watch another science video. But for now, I think that you're all beautiful people, and I will see you next time.